Hi, and welcome back to the second hour of Focal Point on AFR Talk. We're going to be talking with Dale Schoengert of Alliance Defending Freedom at the quarter hour, so stay tuned for that. 888-589-8840, number to call if you want to join the program. Let's grab a couple of sound bites, if we can, on this issue of same-sex marriage and what is at risk and what is at stake here. And I want to give you some of the details. We'll review a little bit of this with Dale Schoengert when he's on the program. Alliance Defending Freedom defended Prop 8 in court, so they can speak with authority on that legal circumstance. And so some of this I'll save, some of the business about Prop 8 I'll save for talking to Dale Schoengert. But Liberty Counsel released a press release today to talk about the problems, the legal problems, with the ruling of the Supreme Court on DOMA. Now, this may sound a little bit like we're in the thicket here. We're in the legal thickets. But I'm going to read this paragraph to you because I think it's very, very important that you understand what's going on here. And the bottom line here is that the Supreme Court did not make its decision based on law or based on precedent or based on the Constitution. It made it purely and simply based on emotion. They decided they don't like us, and therefore they're not going to support anything that we believe in, anything we support, anything we voted for. I mean, it's not going to be long. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, think about this for a minute. What is going to stop the Supreme Court from removing every Republican from public office? Because they will say that the only reason this person got elected is because they hate homosexuals. And the only reason that people voted for this candidate is because they hate homosexuals. We can't have this. You are hereby removed from public office. I mean, what's the difference? There is no difference. And, you know, as Antonin Scalia said, look, the only thing that's going to stop the Supreme Court is what they think they can get away with. They will get away with everything they think they can get away with. That's the only constraint. This is Antonin Scalia saying this. There's no longer any constraint, any restraint on the United States Supreme Court. The only thing that will stop them is they get up to a line that they think they can't get away with. Has nothing to do with the Constitution, nothing to do with justice, nothing to do with the law, nothing to do with tradition, nothing to do with history, nothing to do with our Constitution. Now, here's what the Liberty Counsel said about the Supreme Court on DOMA. Justice Kennedy, writing for the majority 5-4 court, invoked equal protection, but did not bother to apply equal protection analysis. Now, equal protection is a technical term. It comes from the Constitution, especially from the 14th Amendment. Equal protection first requires the court to identify the claimed interest. Here it is same-sex marriage. That's what people are claiming. That's what they wanted. They wanted same-sex marriage. That is their claimed interest. The court must then determine if that claimed interest is an enumerated right in the Constitution. So if you're going to come in and make a claim, the first thing the court does is there anywhere in the Constitution where that claim is based on or rooted on a constitutional right or is listed, a better way to put it, is that right one of the ones that's listed in the United States Constitution? Do they have an enumerated specified right to that? And here there obviously is no enumerated right to same-sex marriage. It's just not in there. Article 1, Section 8, you'll look in vain for any mention of the word marriage anywhere in Article 1, Section 8, anywhere in the entire United States Constitution. Just not in there. So the court must then determine if the claimed right is not enumerated, if it is deeply rooted in history. So you can say, okay, the court could say, okay, it's not an enumerated right, but this is a right that is deeply embedded in our history as a nation, so we're going to give it to you on that basis. Here it is not. In fact, for most of our history, homosexuality or sodomy has been a crime against nature, an infamous crime against nature. Had the court applied the standard equal protection analysis, DOMA would clearly be upheld. So he says, look, Anthony Kennedy cited equal protection, but then he didn't use it. He didn't mess with it. It was just like window dressing, just like a veneer to cover this naked power grab. Now, we have talked about the fact that, well, let's play clip number 2. Andrew Sullivan is a very prominent homosexual activist and blogger. And he is concerned about something that we have verbalized frequently on this program, that Christians are now going to be bullied mercilessly by the homo-Nazis, by the homo-fascists and the homosexual activist movement. And Andrew Sullivan, to his credit, is actually concerned about that. Let's listen.
My worry is that there will be an overplaying of our hand, and that people will try and force this more quickly than we really should. What I'm proud of so far is that we have done this the right way. We have done this state by state. We've done it legislatively. We've done it through argument, through that kind of what the founders wanted us to do. Make our case,
right.
Bit by bit, persuade more and more people and move that forward. And I don't want anybody's religious liberty. I want that to be defined as maximally as possible. We do not threaten and should never threaten the conscientious beliefs of those who disagree with us. We should welcome their freedom because it's our freedom too. And so I'm very concerned, actually, that we may become intolerant of people who believe homosexuality is still sinful. And we have to live by our own.
You want to be tolerant of their intolerance?
Yes, because I think in the end that's the only way to solve it. I mean, I'm a Christian. I really believe in the end on this matter. You up the ante and start calling them bigots and trying to coerce them, you're as bad as they were to us. And we must never do that.
Oh, that's exactly what Anthony Kennedy did. Called us bigots. I mean, it's already been done, Andrew Sullivan. There's no becoming here. There's no becoming intolerant. Already Christians are being treated as a second-class group of citizens. Let's go to Clara in Inwood, Texas, if we can grab the phone call from Clara. Clara, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Oh, sir, I'm just confused here because they're saying that homosexuality is perfectly okay. Well, biology tells us that it isn't.
Right.
How can you just ignore biology? I mean, they can't procreate. They cannot have a healthy relationship. So how can we?
Okay, did we lose Clara? Did we lose Clara?
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, I thought we lost you there for a second. So what you're saying, Clara, is that we know biologically same-sex relationships don't work. Was that your point?
Don't work.
Okay, I think, Clara, I'm afraid we got a bad connection there with you. I'm very sorry about that. You were cutting in and cutting out. I was very interested in what you had to say, but I think we had a bad cell phone connection. So sorry about that. But you know, what Andrew Sullivan is talking about is exactly right. And maybe we'll have a chance to talk about this with Dale Schoengert from Alliance Defending Freedom after the break. You know, but Robert Knight has a piece today, Washington Times, that the Supreme Court itself is now a hate group. Remember, the Southern Poverty Law Center defines as a hate group any group that spreads malicious lies about another group. This is exactly what the Supreme Court has done. They have spread malicious lies about you and me, that we have animus in our hearts toward homosexuals, that we hate homosexuals. We don't. We love them. We want to see them set free. So the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, is itself a hate group.